currently packing in my bag because I'm going to New York and I'm really excited, although I think it's gonna be a high of like mid 90s and it's gonna be really humid and also it might rain. I hope it doesn't, but I feel like I've kind of given up on all like nice hair and outfit and I'm gonna wear very comfortable shoes, but I thought I'd show you what's in my bag because I think that's very important and I care. And I'm always curious what's in other people's bags. But I'm bringing this book. This is Butcher's Crossing by John Williams. I finished Stoner last year. I did really enjoy it and I've never read anything else by him. I was always kind of, I don't know, hesitant, not very interested in this one because it's like a Western novel about this guy who goes to find buffalo. I don't know. It just seems like not really my type of setting and atmosphere, but I think that so far it's actually great and it kind of reminds me of how good John Williams is. So reading that one, and then I'm also bringing a hat, of course. It's gonna be really hot. I was tempted to get one of those like full-on visors, like the UV visors, but I thought that'd be maybe a little too much. And then I have AirPods. Olivia Rodrigo's album just came out, so I'm gonna be listening to that. A hair clip because it'll definitely get hot. My hair, I did my hair today, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna fall out later. And then I have this little pouch with a blotting powder, sunscreen, and then I always carry this. This is the Skin Smart facial cleanser. It's the hypochlorous acid facial spray, especially when you're sweating and you're like touching everything, like on the subway. And then I have a Tide to Go pen, as well as a pen. You never know when you'll need to sign or write something. Also, maybe I can annotate my book if I want, and then hand lotion. And I think that's everything. I usually carry around like a travel perfume, but I feel like at this point it's useless. So that's everything in my bag. I'm gonna go eat breakfast now, and then I should probably head out. I'm really excited. I'm gonna go to so many bookstores.
I agree. I felt Oh, of course. That's what we're good at.
Yeah, it's fun, right? It's the fun part.
Oh, what is your
Anthony.
Oh, right. I remember that.
That's very good.
I'm back from New York and I have an amazing book haul, so I wanted to do a little show and tell. I actually didn't think that I would go and buy so many books while I was there. I was kind of looking for clothing or for a pair of shoes, but fortunately everywhere that I went either had a line to get in and or there's nothing in stock. So I would wait in line and then I'd want to buy something, but they didn't have it, which was kind of frustrating, but I guess that's just New York. Also, there's lines for like everything else. Like if you want coffee or matcha, bagels. There's like a froyo place. I think we waited almost an hour in the hot summer weather. So expect to wait in lines, but the bookstores don't have lines. And honestly, New York has such an amazing book scene. There's so many carefully curated shops, new and used. So I'll put a list of my favorites down below if you're going to visit anytime soon. But these first three that I got, two of them are first editions, and they're all by John Steinbeck, which, if you know, I've been loving John Steinbeck so much. I'm trying to get through all of his works. And actually, this one I've never even heard of. This is The Short Reign of Pippin the Fourth. This is the cover. I think this cover is just so hilarious to me. And I feel like I heard that Tortilla Flat is also kind of comedic. I think this one is as well, which I've never read anything by John Steinbeck that has that. I feel like a lot of his work that I've read has been more serious. So I'm excited to try something a bit different from him. And the quality of this one is not as great, but I feel like it was a pretty fair price. Let me show you what it looks like without the jacket. Ooh, if I can do this carefully. Oh. I actually haven't even looked at it. This is what it looks like. So I got that one. And then next, another first edition, Burning Bright. I remember someone recommending this to me when I had an Instagram poll probably like a month ago. I think this is a play novel, maybe? It's a modern story with the elements of a morality play concerned with basic human drives, love, jealousy, friendship, the desire to have a child. So I'm excited to try this one. I feel like the condition of this one is a bit better. So I'm so happy that I have both of these in my collection. And then the last one is The Winter of Our Discontent, which I did finish. I had a paperback version of it and it was completely falling apart. I actually let my friend borrow that, so I don't have it right now, but this one is in a lot better condition and I just wanted to have it in my collection in this hardback. So very happy to have that one as well. And then these four are all new books. So I've also been liking George Orwell, so I have Coming Up for Air by him. And based off of the summary, it kind of reminds me of The Winter of Our Discontent. It's about a man who is kind of, I don't know, in the middle of his life. He has an expanding waistline and a desperate desire to escape his dreary life. Kind of has like similar elements. I don't think it's going to be entirely the same, but it made me think of that. So that one. I also picked up two books by Stefan Zweig. Beware of Pity, which I think is probably his most famous and loved piece of work. I've heard really great things about this one, and I've been liking Zweig so far. I've read two by him, so I wanted to pick up another one. This is The Journey into the Past. And this one's quite short, which I like, so I might pick this up soon. Is this like 100? Yeah, it's only 100 pages. And then the last book that I got was actually a McNally edition. So they published their own books as well. This is called Something to Do with Paying Attention. This was their number 3 or number 1. I think it kind of changes. I like how they had a wall of their best-selling lists of books, I guess, so that you can choose and see, and they have like little blurbs that go with it as well. And with all the books, they also give you a nice little bookmark. So those are all the books that I got. I have a lot to get through, but I'm very excited. Oh, and I also got this tote from them. So they have a lot of different options. This is a new one, is what they told me. And it's the McNally Jackson, the dogs. So these are actual drawings of dogs of the booksellers that work there, which I think is adorable. And this was only $5, which I feel like is a pretty fair price, at least for a tote bag from New York. I also picked up a couple of non-book related things that I wanted to share. So this is from 12 Matcha. It's a pretty viral matcha cafe, and I really like their drink. I think it's high quality. They also use, I think, 6 grams of matcha powder, which is quite a lot, although it is kind of expensive, but it's also New York. They recently started selling their powder. They have 2 options though. This is the number 2. The number 1 was more expensive. I think it was almost like $50 for 20 grams. So I just opted for this one, which was still kind of overpriced, but I thought of it more of like a souvenir, I guess. I really like their packaging though. This feels like really nice quality. Oh, I really like the packaging of this. And then you pull it off. Oh gosh. Oh, okay. I feel like this is kind of hard to pull on and off though. I can imagine like my powder being in there and I doing that and it just spills. So I'll have to be careful, but I'm gonna try this out probably maybe this week. I try to finish my powders before starting a new one, but I want to try that out with some of my syrups. And then the other thing that I got was this Lisette tea. I feel like this is also viral. I feel like I've been served all the ads and all the videos, but this is the Margot shirt, and this is kind of what made them really popular. It's just a plain shirt, and it's kind of overpriced. I don't know. I feel a bit torn because I think investing in your basics, especially if it's like natural fibers, is good, but then there's some brands that just have that name attached to it that make it more expensive. But I tried it on and I really liked it, so I bought it. Maybe I can show you because I feel like it is the perfect fit. This is what it looks like. It really is just a plain tee, but the fit is really nice. It has a slightly like loose fit, but it's not too boxy and it's not tight in weird spots. I like it. It feels very soft. I haven't washed it yet, so we'll have to see how it wears over time. I'm about to head to bed and do some reading for the night and go to sleep soon, but I thought I'd share a reading update because I feel like I haven't been great about sharing my thoughts and progress as I'm going through the book. And instead it ends up being a review at the very end, which I feel like is not as exciting. So I'm reading Butcher's Crossing by John Williams, and this is my second book by him. I honestly don't think he has that many books in his catalog. I could be wrong, but I think there's his first one, which I don't remember the name of right now, Butcher's Crossing, Stoner, and then Augustus, which I believe he won an award for. I actually might pick that up after this because I'm really liking Butcher's Crossing so far. This is actually quite a late update because I'm like 75 pages away from being done, but I think in the past 2 days I read over 100 pages and I stayed up really late last night because I was really invested in the story. It's kind of funny because I've avoided picking this up for the longest time because based off of the summary, it just did not seem like a book that I would like. And even though I saw people review it and say they love it, I just could not get myself to pick it up. And I think it's because it's categorized as a Western novel, and this book takes place in the 1870s in the Colorado Rockies, and it follows our protagonist, Will Andrews, and he's a college dropout, recently dropped out from Harvard actually, and he decides to kind of go on this soul-searching journey, figure out who he is, and he does that by immersing himself in nature and going buffalo hunting with 3 complete strangers. A lot of it is really just them like setting up camp, riding their horses, but Will Andrews, you kind of see how he's starting to learn a lot more about himself and have these reflections. I think what John Williams is really great at is he kind of takes something that's a bit mundane, something that isn't super exciting or interesting, into something that becomes very deep and introspective. I don't know, I've learned a lot about Buffalo, to be honest, and I didn't find it boring at all. So those are my thoughts so far. I'm actually thinking of maybe trying to finish it tonight. I feel like I could, but it's kind of getting late, so we'll see. But those are my thoughts. I'm really curious if anyone else has read this before and your thoughts on it. Would love to talk about it because I don't think I've heard too many people talk about it, at least recently. I've seen some old reviews, but would love to chat about it. No. Can I pet you? Oh, no. Okra. It's fuzzy. I'm on my lunch break right now, and I'm also filming on my phone. Hopefully the audio is okay. But I'm gonna read the last 5 pages of Butcher's Crossing, so it's about that much. I actually read a lot last night, and also I read a bit this morning. I went to a coffee shop, so I'm gonna finish this up while I eat lunch. And for my lunch, I'm so excited. This is a sandwich that my husband made, and it has ham, salami, and roast beef. I have a side of pickled jalapenos, kettle cooked jalapeno chips, and then cherries. So I'm gonna eat that while I'm reading. I am very sad to be finishing this book because it's been such a pleasant surprise. I didn't think I would like it as much as I did. I think I definitely sped through the second half because that's when it really started to pick up. I'm sad to have this story end and to say goodbye. So I'm gonna finish this. Hopefully no one will message me while I'm eating. I think this should be pretty quick though. So I finished Butcher's Crossing a few days ago, and I thought I'd share my initial thoughts. It's also so hot in this room. I don't know if you can tell, but my office, it gets like full on sunlight, and it's on the top level, so it just gets really hot. And I've also been trying to record this multiple times, which is contributing to the heat. But anyways, that's kind of besides the point. I finished Butcher's Crossing, and it's my second by John Williams. I picked this up because I kind of wanted to go outside of what I think I like or what I know I like, because this is a novel that takes place mostly in the mountains. There's this group of 4 men who are out looking for buffalo. They're going to this secret place that one of the men came across like over a decade ago, and they're trying to see if the herds of buffalo are still there. And the protagonist is a college dropout, Will, and he's just kind of in this part of his life where he doesn't really know who he is. He's trying to kind of figure out what he wants to do with his life, and he decides that going out in nature and funding this buffalo hunting party is the way to do it. And so most of the book does take place in the mountains. They're in very tough conditions, and they come across a lot of different obstacles. They're really out there surviving. Also, trigger warning, I guess, if you are sensitive to animal cruelty, I probably wouldn't recommend this because it goes into a lot of detail. I don't know, it can be kind of difficult to read, especially when they're hunting the buffalo. I didn't expect to get so much into the details and have so much like vivid imagery associated with it. But I think this is quite different from anything I've ever read before because it uses nature and being surrounded by nature in isolation as a way to kind of understand who you are, and that's what's done in this book. I feel like this definitely has a lot less dialogue, more observing, and not as much like conversation through the characters, but you kind of see how they react to different scenarios. And so those are my thoughts. Overall, I really did like it. I actually do want to pick up Augustus next, this one. So this one, he did win the National Book Award. And this is an epistolary novel, so it's through a series of letters. I kind of want to read all of John Steinbeck again. Every time I say John, I think of John Steinbeck. John Williams. I'm thinking about reading all of his novels because he doesn't have that many. I also need to think about what I want to read next because I haven't made a decision yet.